motorcycle adventure, Dirt Bike TV, supported proudly by Adventure Spec in the UK, Rally Raid Products, Giant Loop in the United States, Adventure Moto in Australia, Pirelli Tyres, Motul Oils, RK Chains, and Australian Adventure Bike Magazine.
Okay, Clubby's got his camera. Got to do some work now. Come on, little Honda.
It was about a year ago since Andrew Clubb, the editor of Australian Adventure Bike magazine, and I tested the mighty Honda CRF 300L Rally. We certainly gave it a workout, and the first thing we found was the suspension was way too soft for our bigger bodies. But apart from that, the bike impressed us. Handling was good, the Honda engine was bulletproof, it could skip along at highway speeds courtesy of an overdrive 6 gear. It had an old style frame that made it easy to bolt on accessories. It was comfortable and had a long fuel range. And finally, it was light to throw around. We both longed to do a bike build on this magic little red rooster that we firmly believed would become an adventure dragon slayer. Clubby and I aimed to spend no more than 30% of the cost of the bike during the build. I'm pretty sure we're not going to achieve that goal, but let's see how we go. By our reckoning, we've got about $4,000 Australian to spend. In the second episode, we installed Rally Raid suspension front and rear and fitted Pirelli tyres designed for the dirt. In the third episode, Unifilter paid us a visit, and we were chuffed to be the first in the world to receive the newly produced air filter kit for the bike. In the fourth episode, we fitted a B&B bash plate and rear rack and Polysport handguards. Today, we catch up with Craig and Elise of Elwood Motorcycle Adventures. They are motorcycle tour operators in the top end of Australia, arguably one of the toughest environments for motorcycles in the world. They run tours from Cairns to Cape York, Cairns to Darwin and into the Kimberley. They've recently acquired a Honda CRF 300L for their fleet, and I wanted to catch up with them to see how it was coping in this tough environment. Woody and Elise from Elwood Motorcycle Adventures, great to see you again and great to have you on board at Mad TV.
Hey Dave, thanks for having us back.
Yeah, thanks Dave.
Mate, we've had some great memories with you. I mean, I'm thinking of Tropical Punch. That was a cracking trip.
It really was. It feels like a long time ago now, but yeah, we've been to Darwin once since then, and we've got another one coming up next month actually, and then off to the Kimberley for our very first tour.
Oh wow!
After our exploratory last year, we've kicked off the tour now. So
gee, that's great. Have you got any vacancies for that?
No, not that one.
No,
so there is
gone.
actually, we've had a couple of cancellations moved to next year for our Darwin tour, but the Kimberley is shockers.
Yeah, mate, that whoever's going on that, they're going to have one cracking hell of a ride. That was bloody brilliant.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And but the other thing you guys do, you do a lot of different tours, but one of them you do, and I can see this little red rooster you got in the back there, very similar to mine in a way. You do a lot of Cape York adventures as well, don't you?
Yeah, we're actually got 10 Cape York trips this year. We're 3 in. We're about to kick off our 4th on Saturday. So the weather up here is amazing at the moment. And we can't wait to get out there again.
Oh, that's great. So the purpose of my call was just to get a real world assessment of your little red rooster, the Honda CRFL. Yours is not the rally, yours is the trail version, but basically same engine, same running gear, just about same everything apart from a front fairing on mine. So we just wanted to get a view. I mean, of all the places, I mean, the Cape York ride would have to be one of the toughest. I mean, bikes are sunk all the time. It's dusty, it's dirty. If a bike's going to break down, it's going to be on your tour simply because it's so tough on bikes. So give us a rundown. And Elise, you're the one who primarily rides the Red Rooster?
Yeah, so I'm pretty well testing it all this year. I'm riding it on pretty much every tour.
Yeah.
One of our customers rode it for the very first time to Cape York a few tours ago.
Actually, the funny thing about that was he rode it all week. Really short guy. He went and bought one the day after he finished the tour.
Loved it.
Loved it.
Rest my case.
Yeah. He went and bought one. However, it's not due till April next year.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's a shame, but we're pretty lucky to get this one here actually. But I rode it for the first time to Cape York last week.
Yeah.
And yeah, it went amazing. I was really, really happy with it overall. Obviously, a few things such as the suspension, a little bit soft. We haven't done anything with that yet. It
Yeah.
is still completely stock.
Yeah.
We're waiting for you, Dave, to do all your
Yeah.
tested and everything, and then we'll go off your opinion on what we do with the suspension and
Yeah,
the
well,
setup.
we're bound for Nugget sometime in the next 3 or 4 days. It's been delayed by rain. Nugget has put me into some Erzbergish sort of country. He's got all set up for me. So by the end of that, everyone will get a clear understanding of what the suspension's like for a fatty like me.
That's what we need to know.
Yeah, so Elise, just to fill the viewers in, like you're a really experienced rider. I've got some wonderful footage and we had a lovely time there riding in the Kimberley, and you were just, going through the Twin Trail and you clip along at a very fast rate. Can you just tell the viewers just quickly some of your background in terms of riding so people appreciate not only, you're riding in a tough environment, but you ride pretty bloody quickly.
Yeah, I've raced motocross my whole life, so I like to go fast. And however, in Cape York is somewhere where, we tell everyone to ride at about 70% just because we go to some very, very remote areas. A lot of people aren't aware that we are so remote and help isn't 5 minutes around the corner. So I ride well within my ability but still can hold quite a decent pace actually. And especially this little thing here, it really does get up and boogie when you want it to. It definitely lacks a little bit of power to get what I found was to get me out of trouble a couple of times. Just such things like locked in the front wheel, if you're in a high gear or something, just lacks that little bit to sort of get you out of trouble here and there. And another, in soft sand is one thing that we go out onto a remote beach. And
Yeah, I've been there. Yep.
Yeah, we go quite soft sand out there, and I was getting left for dead out there actually in that. So yeah.
But once again, it's a bog stock. We haven't done anything to the engine. There's no exhaust. There's no anything. It's basically straight out of the box. So,
And I mean, we're going quick. I was trying to go quite quick on it, and I'm probably asking a lot of it sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's just so smooth and such a pleasure to ride. It's light. It's nice and short, which is something I really like. I'm about 165 centimeters tall, and the DRZ's a little bit tall for me standard. So this thing here is perfect height for me. I can pick it up really easy when I drop it, which I do quite often. It's such a great little bike.
Well, don't be too embarrassed about dropping it. I've got a damn lot of film in my little memories there of Woody dropping a bike a few times. Every time I was right behind him, every time. It's very funny.
That's good. No one normally sees that. So
yeah, I've kept it in a suitcase, and I can just pull it out when I need it. Yeah, it's very funny.
For every time I seem to drop it, you seem to have a camera there.
Oh, it was so funny. It was just coincidental. So you've sunk the bike, and for viewers not in our country, when we mean sink, we just don't mean watering the bike. We mean kind of underwater, like submarine. You've sunk it?
Yeah.
Yeah, once. I mean, this last trip, actually, we rode through some really deep water, and it got through with no dramas at all, and we didn't sink it. But we have another time ridden it through some, testing out its ability, and we did drown it. We pulled the spark plug out, pulled the air filter out. And that's one thing that at the moment we still haven't got our Unifilter air filters yet.
Yeah.
So it's running the standard paper filter, and obviously, you know, a drowning means it gets a lot of water in there. So no good for a paper filter.
No.
Yeah, but we pulled the spark plug out and got it going quite quickly.
Yeah, really quickly actually.
So how deep was the water when you sunk it? Like, what's it, over the seat or something?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well and truly. Actually, we might have a video of that.
Yeah, we've probably got a video of it. We can we'll show you.
Oh,
Yeah.
look, if you can give me that video, I'll put it on just to show the viewers what we mean by a Cape York ride.
Yeah.
So in terms of your filter, the air filter, like we were talking to Miles the other day, your uni filters are coming.
Yep.
And I don't know if you've seen on our side of this Red Rooster review, we've shown a fitment of those new air filters. And so it comes with a pre-filter and then an air filter. So that'll be good for you in terms of the future. But you've had this bike now for 6 months. How have you been coping to minimize dust? Because it could slip past that air filter in that fine dust up there.
Process of elimination, I ride out in front.
Yeah.
I don't very rarely ride in dust. So
No.
But also we do run our own pre-filters.
Yes.
Yeah, on the filter itself. Yeah.
which is just the chucks.
It's just the chucks.
An oil chuck, so we put that on there. We're quite anal with our filters, actually. We
Yeah.
do our filters twice on the way to Cape York, and we run 3 filters. And at the moment, we're just running an oil chucks on the filter and changing that out quite regularly. But it's actually been a little bit wet up the Cape lately, so there hasn't really been too much dust, which is quite unusual.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how does it compare to the DR 400?
In some ways, there's no comparison. I feel like a larger person would probably not enjoy it as much.
Yeah.
Obviously, the suspension a little bit underpowered. You definitely have to work a little bit harder on it. I rode through the Starkey track, and just comparing that, you're changing gears a lot. You know, first gear seems to be really short, but then there's a big difference between first and second gear.
Right.
And I just have to work a lot harder, kind of thing. But that is having a good run through there and trying to go quick on it. And yeah.
The one thing that we are going to do with it is it's going to come along on the Cancer Darwin trip and the Kimberley.
Oh, good.
So that'll be a good test for it with luggage and everything like that. So
Yeah.
that should be really good, interesting to see how it goes with luggage and long haul trips like that. I think it'll do well with the 6th gear and all that sort of stuff. Like, it sits really well at 100, 110.
Yeah, it sits well at 100, 110. I've sat on freeway. It's good. One of the modifications Clubby and I are thinking of doing is there's an ECU you can get for it that really boosts up that mid-range. And just gives it a more fulsome, solid mid-range. It'll be interesting. I think we're going to have to do that just for the hell of it, just to find out if it makes much difference. But can you see yourself, because, I'm looking at in the background there and you've got a row of DR 400s. Do you see yourself having more of the 300s or are you going to try to stick with the DRs?
We, at the moment, the only issue with them, like, I was in the Honda shop yesterday.
You can't get them.
That's exactly right. Yeah, availability's the biggest problem at the moment. So if they can sort that out a bit better in the coming years, I mean, more than likely we will look at going down this path. At least have it more than one.
Yeah.
And
we do get a lot of ladies come along, and their first thing they say is, "Can I ride the CRF?" They're pretty keen to jump on that thing. So, it's just so easy to ride and shorter, lighter. It's
mechanically, the only small issues, they're really small issues, but we did have an issue with the stand switch.
Yes.
That was, any time it fell over, it'd get clogged up with mud. So what I've done as a quick fix is I've just bypassed that.
Right.
Fine. Yeah.
When you bypass that, is that just 2 wires or is it more complicated? No, it's just 2 wires.
Yeah, we just solder them together and bridge it out, basically.
Yeah, which is a damn sight easier than a KDM or Husky, I can tell you.
That's right. Yeah.
And a few other things. The brake lever bends every single time. It's like it's made out of butter. Bends. We've been through brake pads actually. It's only got about 2,000 Ks on it, and just plows through brake pads. So I'm sure what's going on there.
It was really gritty up where you are. Like
maybe, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they're all fairly minor things, really. You know, there's nothing that you would worry too much about, especially where we're taking it.
Yeah.
So,
with the Rally Raid kit that we've put on the suspension, that's what's called level 2. So when I'm sitting on our CRF here, I'm as tall. It's as tall as a 701, 690. So you can get another kit that's at the height that your bike's at.
Right.
So because I think that's what you'd want for women and people of shorter stature is, you know, being able to get their and less experienced riders getting their feet on the ground. So there's another level. It's called that's the level where we've got the level 2. Yeah, the level 1 is a lower suspension, so it maintains the seat height that the bike has now. So you lose a bit of the true travel of that bike. I mean, it's close to 300 mils, and you just lose a bit to get that lower seat height. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, look, thanks for having a yarn with us. So if you could get some red roosters, you'd have a few more. That's an interesting endorsement from you guys who are riding to the Cape, arguably one of the toughest rides we have for motorcycles in Australia, and you'd be happy to get a few more in your fleet, and you just can't get them.
Cannot get them. We have been lucky enough to get our hands on a few DRZs lately, just so that we can, you know, start turning some over and refreshing our fleet. So that's really lucky that we got those. But yeah, it's really, really hard to get.
We actually had to get this one from the Northern Territory.
That's crazy.
Yeah, had to get it from Catherine. So
yeah,
that was the only one we could find.
There was one down here in Brookvale. If I would have known, I would have got that, because Nugget's bought a DRZ 400 for you, hasn't he? He's got to get it up there.
We're actually buying them all over the country at the moment, getting them shipped. So it's we want new bikes, and we want our fleet to be fresh, and you know, the last thing we want is, you know, bikes getting age on them and breaking down and that sort of thing. But it's something that we're all contending with up here at the moment, and I think everywhere. So we're trying our hardest. Yeah.
Well, look, it's great to have a chat. I look forward. So Nugget and I might be coming up to see you in September. November. Sorry, November. Yeah. We'll keep that under wraps. Yeah, but that sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So
another unexplored part of the world that rarely seen, and if that became a bike tour, that will be another cracker to your bow. You're getting some great tours.
Yeah,
absolutely. And we're always, you know, trying to make our tours better every time. And even our Cairns to Darwin this trip, we have a big change up in that one actually. So
really?
We do. We have something completely new at our Cairns to Darwin. So that'll be exciting to share with everyone coming up. So next month.
We wish you well, and Nugget and I look forward to riding with you in November. I hope that all comes off. It's a little bit early at this stage in terms of the planning, but I mean, you guys put on a great show. I mean, just the look on everyone's faces, you know, when we got to Darwin, like there's just this sense of achievement, and it was a cracking time. You walk away with lifetime friendships, and I look back on those videos now, and they're just so much fun. And you know, there's even fun in Nugget filling me in and leaving me in a mud hole. And,
it's really awesome. Like you said, you know, when you make it to wherever we ride is always a challenge. You know, it can be a big challenge for some people, and sometimes it's not until they go home and reflect on exactly what they've just done and achieved, and you know, then they people contact us and thank us for what we've done and
I'll have an admission to make. I had to be talked into doing Cape York. I didn't see it up there. And then when I did it, holy cow! And I've done a lot of riding, and when I got to Pajinka there, the tip of the cape, I really felt that I'd achieved something, and then achieved it with people like yourself and Nugget, and a whole lot of like-minded people. And it's just sometimes you need things in your life that lift your spirits, and these tours that you put on are spirit lifters. There's no doubt about it. It's so such a positive experience.
Oh, good. Thank you, Dave.
No, you do a great job. Well, anyway, we'll see how we go. We might have to bring our little red rooster up to you, and
Yeah.
we'll see what we can achieve in the future. Well, Woody and Elise from Elwood Motorcycle Adventures, thank you so much for telling us about your experience with the CRF 300L. And we look forward to seeing you soon, and keep up the great adventures. And if people want a bit of a lift in their lives, just trolling through Facebook, go to their site, because there's some funny stuff there. They're always pushing it. They got this flying fox across a river. That is a fair income motorbike flying fox, and worth having a look at.
Yes.
Yeah, we're still doing that at the moment, actually, because it's still this deep, the river at the moment, right now. So yeah.
We don't go on the main road pretty much at all. We're actually one of the only companies at the moment up there that completely go, put in a lot of effort and get off the main roads. So we make our tours very, very, very exciting, don't we?
Yeah. No, it's I really love it, and that's someone who's really, doesn't do many tours, but I love coming with you guys. I think it's fun, and you really put on a great show, and it's very professional. So thanks very much. We'll see you soon, and all the best.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
A huge thank you to Woody and Elise of Elwood Motorcycle Adventures for telling us about their experience with the mighty Little Red Rooster, the Honda CRF 300L. Craig and Elise put on cracking tours that put the E back in excitement. And that said, they cater for riders from beginners through to the experienced, and they also regularly have ladies' rides. To get a sample of what these rides are like, there will be links at the end of this video to their Cairns to Darwin ride and the Tropical Punch series. Next Sunday we present episode 2 of the Africa Twin Test, and this time we focus on the DCT version. Spoiler alert, this transmission in the dirt was a heap better than I thought it would be. Here's a little sample of episode 2, out next Sunday.
I'm like the dark in the clouds on a rainy day.